to Product People's first meetup of this year. I'm very happy to see you here. My name is Armen and I'm leading this community. Our last event took place in September, and to be honest, I've missed you all. And I'm really waiting for a networking session to drink wine and enjoy networking with you guys. Today in this stage we'll have two speakers. The first is Asti Pili, Head of Product of Krisp AI, and second is Pavel Sikachev, CPO of Jume. And please be active, don't hesitate to ask questions, because at the end we will give rewards, give gifts. Yandex Hall prepared gifts for 3 best questions. So please be active today. Asti Jan, stage is yours. Welcome.
Thanks. Let me set up myself. Okay. Hi, everyone. Sorry we started a bit late. I know you were sitting and waiting, but we just needed everyone to get together so we can start. I have a pretty controversial topic today, but it's not just me, it's the entire community of product. If you go into LinkedIn, this is a topic that's buzzing. Is PM profession role dead? Well, we're gonna just, peel back the layers and understand if it's true or not. And if it's not, what's the next? So I wanna say my title is PM is dead, long live the PM, and I'm referencing the expression that were used during French monarchy, which is king is dead, long live the king. And it references that when something is gone, the successor takes the place. This gives the idea that my topic is not about PMs being dead, but it's evolution. So don't be, aggressively charged, even though it's going to be a bit controversial, and I'm going to say things that you most likely not going to like. But bear with me, let's discuss this. All right, before I can come here and talk about controversial stuff, I'll probably need to introduce myself and a little bit talk about my journey. So I'm a director of product and growth at Krisp, and as you know, Krisp is a noise cancellation application, and it started that way. And we were especially lucky that COVID happened, because we were just in the right time, in the right place. But after COVID, noise cancellation started to be commoditized a little bit, and some other tools started to have noise cancellation. So we sat down and understood that we need to, diversify our offering. And we had many things on the table, but we took our own speech-to-text technology, and at the time, AI was just starting to hit the market, so we were again at the right time, at the right moment, to create and to go into AI meeting assistant market. But to do that, so again, this is post-COVID time. All the companies did a lot of hiring. There's a lot of fat happening in the company. It's very hard to move things forward, to move the needle. So we decided that, we need to break all of this. We need to start from scratch, and we created a team that internally we called internal startup. It was basically a startup. Few people, senior ones, the most technical ones, sat together, engineers, designers, PM, and I was the PM, sat together, we came to the office every day, and we started to work on the project. And it didn't took us long before we hit the market, before we have our product being ready to go to the market and something to push forward. So I'm coming from that journey, and I'm going to share that experience with you, why that happened and why all these changes are happening. So that's my opinion. So why all this shift? I want to take a pause right now and ask you, are there any opinions why market is shifting, why people are talking if PM is dead, or that role is dead, or engineering is going to die? AI. Great. I have a bit different answer. For me, AI is like a root cause, but not directly impacting us cause. For me, root cause is competition, as always. Everything happens because of competition. Market and product became more competitive. There's new product hitting the market every day. And it's possible because small and efficient teams. And that's because, well, AI. But not only AI. Basically, it's easier to create products around AI because technology is already there. You can create even a wrapper product around AI. Some do, and it's easy to hit the market that way. AI is in every corner, so not only new products have AI, but also all the products, all the tools in the market integrated AI in their offering. But that's not only it. Teams started to work differently. Again, I'm talking about small and efficient teams. One person covering bigger scope. Each person becoming a superhuman of its role. And because it's possible because there are copilots, there are tools that can augment us. Yes, again, AI. But also because there's a mental shift in Silicon Valley and overall in the market. It's shift towards founder mode. Founder mode means like, you no longer delegate things and say we need to do this and that, you do it. In short, in a nutshell. So all this change is happening, and AI is accelerating it. So if we go back, it's going to be small and efficient teams, increased competition. And these are the teams. This was impossible before. Companies hitting 100 million ARR with teams of 2, 10, or 15. Impossible before. Now it's possible, and that's the future. So why is that happening? Let's take a look at our current structure, old days, what's the product development looks like. Please don't judge me here. This is a very high-level look, but I'm trying to showcase what is happening where we are inefficient. So let's start. We'll start with a PM. So PM does the research, market research, some validation, creates the prioritization backlog, writes the PRD, and then even the JIRA. Designer starts the design. Developer starts the development, and then testing. If you're lucky, there will be a PMM in the team that will think about positioning. If you're not lucky, there will not be a PMM. And then on the release day, the PMM will appear and say, we released the feature. In some companies, there's a project manager that's like, after PRD is done, helps with the JIRAs and daily and the process. In other companies, there's a product owner who knows a little bit, participates a little bit in PRD creation, does a little bit of prioritization, but basically helps this process to move along. And they all are there on a release day celebrating the feature release. But usually that's where it stops in the companies. Some lucky companies also have data analysts that, track what we have released. Was it a successful release? Was it a not successful release? What's the metric? And then mostly nobody iterates. We're talking about the product team, by the way, like product development team. And literally nobody owns the revenue from product team. That's why CEO interferes all the time, coming to PM, whispering on his ear, on her ear or his ear, trying to be as neutral as possible, but I guess it's impossible. So this is inefficient. There are multiple inefficiencies here. One is the overhead. To all the project managers and product owners, I'm really sorry, but there's a lot of overhead created by you. Problem is that you focused on process, and usually it's very disconnected from the product itself. So you optimize for the processes, maybe for the outcome, but there's a lot of context that's missing. So you don't have the decision-making power because there's not enough input on the business side, on the priorities, on the technical side. So anytime the question comes in, there's a whole cycle of, I need to ask the product manager, I need to ask the leadership, and then it goes back and forth. Another problem that we saw is that when we have project managers and product owners, usually engineering managers, they don't step up. So they just work they do their engineering, and then whenever it's time for a decision, they just look at the product owner or they look at the project manager, and the whole cycle begins again of asking around. But that's real inefficiency. At our company, at Krisp, our engineering managers, they are superheroes. They know the business, they know the technical side, and they are literally driving the process and driving the release. Another inefficiency is that this is already on the product manager side. Is that, well, first of all, when there are smaller teams, there's less to manage, less people management. So instead of spending 60% of your time doing people management, doing meetings, doing calls, you really do deep product work, which is essential for building very coherent product. If you're a product manager that's not spending all her time, his time, thinking about the product, understanding the technology, understanding the business, then you're not creating a cohesive product. Doesn't have a soul. It will be a Frankenstein of different things coming different way. There should be a person behind everything, seeing all the things together. It's not easy, but that's the job. So also, running out of breath. Thanks. Yeah, saying a lot of nasty stuff and running out of breath. So, okay, let's get back to it. A lot of PMs spend a lot of time on a PRD as well, which is, it's not something static, right? It's not something that you'll need to write and everyone needs to wait for you to write and finish PRD, and then so the process can move forward, because everything needs to happen in parallel. Market happens very fast. You wake up one day and there's a new model that you need to adapt, and that changes entire strategy. So you just can't sit and wait in time for PRD to be ready. Everything needs to happen in parallel. So basically, to say and sum up what I wrote here is like less time on bureaucracy and more time doing really deep work on the product, which you understand from technical side, from user experience side. You can't just, own the the problem space. Say, I talk to users, I understand their problems, I'll just bring it to the team, they'll solve it. It's not happening that way. You need to understand the problem, where it's coming from, and then you need to work on the solution with the team and iterate on it over and over, because otherwise it will be disconnected from each other, and there will be so much overhead understanding each other. Another inefficiency is that I already showed that product teams don't interact, don't own the revenue. And that brings to inefficiencies, because the only way you can prioritize it, if you don't know the business, you don't know the revenue, is by saying, okay, user needs this. I talked to a user, it's very important for them. This user, but that user wanted something else. If it's not tied to revenue metric, you'll be always dependent on the leadership to provide you with a decision. And if you're dependent on making decisions, you will slow down. You will not understand the entire scope, and you'll slow down the process. Many of times founders also interfere because product people don't understand the revenue part, they don't understand the finance. That's why they have to come in and say, this is more important, no, prioritize this one. So that's inefficient. We need a person that understands the revenue entire scope and is able to push it forward. So this is pretty much the small teams of the future. I know there are just few people here, and you'll say, oh, where's the QA? Where's the analyst? This is the minimum scope. So let's say you started a company, a startup, and you're trying to build something. It can be even a one person with AI because you have all these copilots for prototyping and everything. But this is like the minimum viable team I see for like startups. It's the PM covering a large scope. So it's the research, it's prototype, it's PRD, it's positioning, user analytics, iterating and owning the revenue. And AI to help. It's the designer that doesn't, not only designer do the design, but they participate with the PM on PRD and Jira creation, on prototyping and design. So it's like very together work. They owning bigger scope. And engineering managers, as I mentioned before, this is like really what's happening at Krisp. Like they own the development, they talk with the QA team. In very small teams, I assume it will be automated, but in a bit bigger teams, there will be a QA and analyst. But they work together with engineering manager because not only PMs understand the business at this setup, but also engineering managers. So for example, if QA comes in and says, oh, we have this list of bugs, what we're going to do, it's not going to go through the cycle of, oh, wait, let's talk to the PM, let's talk to the leadership. EM will be able to handle that all. So imagine how fast this is happening. So much inefficiency and overhead is taken away. And companies and teams will work. It will be teams of smaller teams. And some resources will be shared, like product marketing, analyst. Not all the pods will be this way, right? Some features need a QA, dedicated QA. Some features need an analyst dedicated. But this is like to imagine. But in order for the product manager to do that all, we need to, unleash ourselves. We need to do much more than we were doing, and we need to do even more than that. So this is a comparison. Okay, looks fine. The colors look fine. So what's the PM 1.0 was doing, and what the PM 2.0 should do. If you can see, PM 1.0 was spending a lot of time on research, writing the PRD, some low-level prioritization because they needed to work directly with the engineering, because remember, EM needed all the support, but the new EM knows it all. No need to low-level prioritization. Some analytics, and it was a lot of process management, it was stakeholder communication. With smaller team, all this overhead, all this time spending on the PRD writing is reduced. As you can see and on the chart next to it, it's more about adding your skills in the revenue, UX and prototyping, storytelling, iterating. You can spend really little time on writing PRD with all the tools. Do high-level prioritization. Do a lot of analytics to really understand what you've built. Is it really used? Is it driving the metric? Is it driving the revenue? The closest proximity, don't hate me, but is it true? It's the founder, because this is the only role that's so cross-functional. And founders, when they start their startup, they really need to go and dig into anything that's not working at the moment. They need to do the hiring, they need to do the sales, figure out the marketing, so they can hire the right people or move things forward. So this is the closest proximity. PMs need to start to think more like founders. They have their scope, and they need to drive it and act as founders. There are plenty of tools to help. I added a few here, but believe me, there's ocean of tools to help you. I'm not going to go over each tool saying, use this one for this, use that one for that, but definitely so many tools to help you craft the PRD, to do deep research, to help with your storytelling or crafting mini copies. All right, I'm almost getting to the end of my presentation. Just want to say this, that people always evaluated with their tools. That was the thing that moved us forward, right? So we created our tools. And actually, I like the reference here, the cutting edge is very literal. Cutting edge tools move us forward and make us, evolve. It's just what's happening right now, and we need to evolve. But no matter what tools we use, we always need to be curious, and we always need to be smart. And don't hate me, please. Thank you. So I have to say this is a QR code for the event. If you want to share something, like the event started a bit late, you can share it here. Thank you.
Thank you, Asti Jan. It's always a pleasure to listen to your speeches. And our next speaker is Pavel Sikachev, CPO at Jume. Pavel Jan, welcome. It's your time.
Hello, guys. So, yeah, my name is Pavel Sikachev, and today I will tell you about how I started my product consulting. To be frank, the goal is actually to show you how it's possible to have additional revenue, put it in your pocket, and speed up the experience you get from the work aside of your current job. And my story is that I already worked with about 7+ companies in my short consulting journey for the last 3 years. And I wasn't, straightforward focused on the consulting. So it was coming to me in the process pretty naturally, step by step. I had to do some efforts to make it grow. And today I will be happy to share my story with you. And I wish that I will maybe inspire some of you to go this path and to discover yourself in the consulting. So a few words about myself. I worked in the small startups, very few teams, in the large corporations when I was director and general manager. I also was a founder and proudly failed, which gave me a lot of experience. And all these efforts and experiences give me a ground base for this consulting experience and initial skills that I implement right now. So today we're gonna discover 5 steps to launch your personal consulting, and I think some of them are pretty generic, but they're worth to be discussed and to be discovered. And I hope you guys enjoy this journey. So let's go. First one, it's actually to define your expertise. And I want to interact with you here a little bit. And can you just raise your hand who can freely right away answer what is their expertise, what is their major professional focus, what are they good at in this area that you are right now in? Okay, so how many, 5, 4, 7? Okay. Yeah, so guys, it's really important, and you see, very few of us does, and it's all about, self-representation and knowing your good skills, knowing what you're focusing on. And in the consulting journey, it's super important initially in the start, because you're usually trying to ground and base on the pillars that you are most experienced is connected with. So for example, you worked with B2C products or B2B or AI or fintech, and it's really nice to describe your experience and to capture these most important parts. That will help you a lot, at least to start. Talking about myself, my journey was in the consulting first steps when I was at the Mars. It was 2020, and I was a director of the product management. We built with my team ecosystem for the pets, telemedicine, marketplace, some subscription services, and a lot of my job was connected as well with partnerships. We partner up with the Yandex at some point. And also small startups come to us to see how they can work with a bigger company. And a lot through these discussions and hearing out the pitches of the different startups, I start noticing that a lot of them were really brilliant, but some of them, well, they're really missing the point or haven't thought through their business idea. Some of them missing strategy, some of them really lacking some monetization efforts and trying to, be in business from the hobby. And this is where, it first struck me that I'm actually, consulting these companies for free during my job. And this was the first click where I started thinking like, okay, maybe I can turn it to something else at some point. As well, there was another great initiatives, and unfortunately not a lot of companies have this kind of things. In Mars, once a year, and I think it's pretty international program, it's called Make a Difference, and you can, every employee from the, let's say, manufacturing teams to, IT and sales can implement one of the ideas that will help the company grow. They can get the funding, they can get the development of this idea, and sometimes it's even became the part of the company and some division. Actually, that helped with, it happened with the division I was responsible for. It just came from the little idea from the little company initiative. And through this program, a lot of startups start popping up with a focus on the digital products, and I was mentoring them as well. And I just start feeling that, there is a huge interest and a huge potential for me. But then 2022 comes, and I made a hard decision to leave my successful career at the time and relocate from Russia, and basically to reinvent my career. And I launched my startup, which called AdMill. Unfortunately, it failed. I gained a lot of interesting insights from this failure, and I started, discovering different opportunities. I started talking to my ex-colleagues in the Mars venture, which called Leap Fund, and through one of the discussions, I just mentioned that to my friend Rachel, I'm happy to mentor a startup if you have any, just to share the experience that we launched in Russia. I think it could be useful for them. And I was really surprised, and in just a couple of months she started getting back to me and connecting me with the startups on the early stage, and also some scale-up companies. That was really useful, and it was one of the real beginnings of my path in this area. As you can see, it's pretty connected with the pet area, and that was really helpful. And I just want to make a caveat here, because starting from the field that you know really well can even help you to go abroad, and not just focusing on your home market. So second one is showcasing and describing your experience. And when I was in Mars and I had a product team of 5 product managers, it was really one of my things that I suggested to the guys. Right now you've been in this company, and next one, who knows what the journey will be. trying to launch their, the products and work on them like something that you will tell others later from the stage. And that could be really useful in the point of, your effort, of course, on this feature. Maybe you will do better. That was my thoughts behind this as the manager. But of course, it's also could be useful for the person to put it in resume if you're not going to launch your own consulting company, or put it in your portfolio. And basically every effort that you're doing, not just working daily in the company and putting all the features into the portfolio, but some side gigs, some projects that you're doing outside of the company is also very useful. In my case, I decided to focus on the 3 points. So I created this simple Notion page and focus on the product management, and I call it product leadership, let's say, area, product advisory and staffing. And it comes from the areas that I mostly faced with from the startups with which I was talking to. It really helped me to narrow down a little bit my own menu of the services that I can provide. As well, you can go, if you don't want to go, this high level, you always can go in depth and you can say like, okay, I'm doing best of the best product strategy for, let's say, food tech companies, or, like in the fintech, I'm the best who's working with a hypothesis and ready to design the whole flow for you. This could be really helpful. This helps to build a bridge between understanding of what kind of professional you are and what kind of services you can provide. Next one is thinking of your, ideal clients, and you can consider it sort of ICP in the product management. So in this case, what kind of companies you're usually working with, what kind of companies you want to work with. Is it startups? Is it scale-up companies? Is it corporations? Some of my colleagues and friends prefer to, work with their consulting with the corporations because they pay well, because there is, like short-term journey and monetize great. But some of them, and myself included, really fond of working with the early-stage startups. And with the scale-up companies where you can go in depth when you have huge impact on the product that you're building, and this is quite interesting. So this again, one more filter that helps you to narrow down and be super precise in your searches, in your focus of your product consulting. In my case, as you can see before, I was mentioning that a lot of connected to the pet field. I'm not limiting in this area currently. I'm working with the companies aside of this niche. And when you start working with the startups and scale-up companies, it also comes at some point where you're trying to understand, like, okay, so I have this bunch of the new companies. We did something together. We passed some. We did some journey. How can I scale this experience and go further to get more clients? And sales, actually, in the consulting is one of the biggest questions and the most difficult job, I would say. We will speak today a little bit about this, but it's really big one. In my case, with having these discussions with the Mars venture that I mentioned before, I decided okay, so how I can scale this experience? And literally just this year in the summer, when I heard that Plug and Play Accelerator is coming to the Armenia, I was super curious. I was speaking to several startups and mentoring them aside of this program, but then I reached out to them, and we started working together. I went with them to the Uzbekistan, mentored the mentoring companies there, did a workshop there, and also judged the President Awards for the startups. This giving you a lot of exposure in the moment and a lot of new contacts and growing large your network. In this kind of the business, the networking and knowing everybody and everybody knowing you is super important. Actually, for speaking about the scalability, not long time ago, I was adding also SmartGate VC with their latest cohort. I was mentoring for a couple of startups there. It was really, really amazing experience helping these early guys on their path. Step number 4 is actually start these proactive efforts in, I call it here discovery calls, but in the fact it could be, you know, anything, emails, messages, connections through the network. Super important to pitch yourself, right? And all the steps that we discussed before was super important to have this great pitch and to target very, very on the most important things that you can heal for the company or you can solve for the company. For example, in my case, one of my first consultations was something like that. I was at the call. I was super excited from one standpoint because I was starting the new kind of the business and there is interesting startup I'm talking with. But same time I was completely frustrated and frightened. And when we were, I started even questioning myself, like, am I qualified to do this job? Am I, you know, really can help this startup to drive their goals and reach their goals? But when I start asking questions and basically trying to decompose the issues they have, I saw their light bulb moment in the founder eyes, and I understood that he gets that he had a gap in the product strategy, and he got the reason I can join the company and help him out with this particular piece, and we start collaborating. So it was really big learning for me that you're in the consultation, you don't have to know anything, and it's okay to don't know anything. You just need to ask right questions and to focus on how rapidly you can get the answers for them. And speaking about the questions, is some of the frameworks are actually pretty useful. Remember, if you know, we have a lot of product managers here, obviously. So if you're interviewed for the product company, usually you pass this beautiful product sense, product strategy interviews, and usually they require some structure. Like, let's say there is a circle method that I like, where you're going from the top level and discovering and discussing the mission and vision level. Then you're going down inside, more granular into the product, into the users, pain points, etc., etc. So basically, in the first calls, when you're just starting to communicate with the company, it's super important to start with a holistic understanding of the business. Something that Asti mentioned is very, very important in the consulting, where you are focusing on the result, when you are focusing on the revenue. It's just vital. And then you start prioritizing the problems that they have, the most low-hanging fruits that you can help them with, and basically start driving the solutions. So the final step is about to deliver an offer, and nobody is pushing you to deliver the offer right on the, during the discussion. You can take your time and analyze all the information you collected, maybe did some research. It's pretty tricky sometimes, because First of all, if you're collaborating with a founder, I would say if the founder will get reply from you like, listen, on the call you mentioned the problem X, in my last company Y we did that, and I have Z results, and I actually can replicate this for you in next 30 days. So I think every founder who will hear this kind of offer, and of course if you will not asking crazy money for that, they will say definitely yes, because they think in the value and they think in the price and terms. And so it could be really, really important to structure your offer well and make sure you got the main problem from your discovery. Also, I want to say a few additional words on the monetization, because it turns to be tricky. A lot of people, when talking about consulting or advising to the startups, thinking first of all about hourly based compensation, which is like pretty straightforward, but the real art starts when you are trying to charge for the project. And this is really interesting, because I mean, it's up to you how much you will assign to cost for the project, and you can say like, okay, I will rebuilding the strategy for you and solving a lot of core issues in your company, and this will drive you to, let's say, additional $1 million of income next year. Why should I charge you $15,000 for my, let's say, 1 month of work or something? So it gives you a little bit more understanding of your value and the value that you're giving to the company. And if you did the right analysis, it absolutely unlimited. You control the value, you control the check that they give to you. Second approach, and this one I usually use with scale-up startups, but who's really need some product guidance, but not ready yet to hire head of the product lead or CPO. And these kind of companies I usually work with on the terms of the fractional product leadership. And it could be, like just some limited number of the hours. It's pretty interesting. You can combine it with different types of the different companies, and multiply your experience and growth by the number of that companies. And the last one, I think this is the most rare, at least from what I receive from insights from my colleagues and friends, is actually the work on the equity basis. And currently I work with two companies, two startups. They were on early stage, so they were basically out of the funds to pay me for the services, and we agreed with them that they can give the equity share, and I will support them on the high level, on the advisory level, in their product efforts. Usually, it's not limited by the product efforts. You usually going into fundraising, into a lot of go-to-market questions. So it's pretty complex, and speaking about this approach, it could be vary from 0.3% to 0.8%, depend on the company, stage, niche, and your consulting fit to this company. In my case, for example, with these two companies, I managed to double that, because I was really tailored for this particular niche, for this particular space. So it was a little success for myself. This how you look when you did all that and send your first offerings. At least I hope so. And this book actually that you see on the screen by Alan Weiss is really something. It can give you the initial understanding of how to do the stuff that I just mentioned, how to position yourself on the market, and how to describe your offerings. So yeah, give it a try if you're curious at this niche. So To wrap up, guys, I want to say that I really, really hope that those of you who are really interested in this topic will, start discovering this. It's again really great and beneficial type of the business that help you grow faster, giving you additional income, and the most interesting, it's actually pretty, if I can say, combinable. There is such a word in English. So you can combine it with your current job, so without the huge risk. So you can manage your time here. And Armenia actually is really well positioned geographically, for running this kind of stuff, because you can run your day job here and then focus on the US clients or EU clients and support them in the evenings. So that's great opportunities. So to continue this discussion, guys, I want to invite you into the channel. I just created it recently, so don't be scared that it's empty currently right now. I'm planning to launch several calls, maybe together, to dive in more into this topic, because it's pretty wide, and every step that we discussed today actually could be expanded significantly. So hope to see you all there and continue the discussion. If you want to scan now, because I will switch to the QR code from the Yandex Hall to evaluate the lecture. Thanks so much, guys. Questions?
Our Q&A session will, thank you, Pavel. Our Q&A session today will be a little bit different. I should invite Asti to this stage, and Pavel, you too, please come here. And guys, you could ask your questions.
You can help. Oh, we need to moderate. Yes, please.
Okay, without mic, I hope you will hear me, guys. So, Asti, first question for you. If we speak about AI improved PM version 2.0, why actually current edge AI company like OpenAI, like Meta, still hire usual programmers and usual PMs and usual other stuff? It's higher, and it's higher maybe less than previous age, but still higher. And inside these companies, its usual workflow still looks the same. Nothing improving. Some research maybe with which look like advanced Googling, but not changing in usual workflows.
To answer that, actually all the changes come slow first and very fast after. So this is happening on a smaller team size. So basically companies that are just starting, it's easier to start from small one. And then bigger companies will, because it's bigger undertaking, right? I can't say for OpenAI if they have smaller pods or not, but I see this happening for the small, new starting companies. And as usual, as we see during the history, it starts very slow with the new companies, new organizations, and then it's very fast. So in order to change things in OpenAI, first of all, we probably need to check how many open PM roles they have. And second of all, usually it's not, they don't change everything at once. They start, as we did at Krisp, for example, we start with the one team and then two team, and then it goes, because to change everything at once, you need the whole transformation agency, and that's a chaos. You can't do that at once.
Okay, you think transformation is in process?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, my question again to Asti. So you mentioned that PM.2 should be able to work on revenue, product marketing. So in my case, I'm working as a contractor in a public company, so I don't have any control on those. I can have positive impact, but I can't own them. How should I position myself?
All right, it's very specific to your case. Basically, you're a contractor, and then you don't have access because some of that data is sensitive, so they don't share it, right? Am I getting it right?
I have access to data, but since the company is huge and it's publicly traded, so you can't own some part of the revenue. For example, if I do this product, this revenue can be increased or decreased, but the ownership isn't full. It's some feature, some product that I'm launching, maybe successfully, but I can't say that I own this part of the revenue because of this product. It's very hard to pinpoint.
Who's owning it?
Yeah.
Who's owning it? I'm asking the question, who's owning it?
Who's owning it? I think no one in the company.
That's the problem. Start from there, like nobody's owning it. So from there, like I think you being a contractor is something you can negotiate because having a PM as a contractor, it's the backbone. Either you have this person full time, all in it, or you don't have this person. Because otherwise it falls into back the old days, old ways. You know, just shipping the features, even though if you go and check the data, how they perform, you don't come, okay, they used it this much, how much revenue this is generating, how much I can commit for the quarter. So start from, like, nobody's owning it, that's a problem, but one thing you can do is, like, push your position to be full-time, and then start discussing it full-time.
Hello, my name is Nikita. I'm from EPAM, and I'm on my way in consulting path. So my question to Pavel, because your topics with Asti are a little bit connected. So do you think AI will impact business consulting because AI quite good advisor in quite lots of areas? That's the question. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Nikita. 100%. So, so AI give us opportunity to be more effective, especially with high-level tasks, which not requires a lot of, in-depth thinking or in-depth analysis, for sure. With some that requires it just becoming to be more useful. So I think in the long term, 100%. But in the consulting, so it's sort of like your effort are focused on how to make the business successful. It's so wide subject, and some of the tasks you definitely can use AI to solve, or company can use AI to solve, but with some they will be really struggling. And to actually rapidly improving and developing themselves, they don't need to focus on that. So I guess this is like the job of the consultants to be ready for these kind of tools, and tools for the consultants, maybe the new thing to discover or build.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for the presentation and experience sharing. First question of mine is referred to Asti. About the revenue again, you mentioned that nowadays it is most important to think about revenue as well. So as per your experience, can you share the model of training the brain in a way that the part of the brain is always thinking as a founder, about revenue, finances, etc., because there are a lot of PMs, maybe you know that they do not have an understanding about finance, etc., so it may be hard for them to go in this. Sure. And if possible, the second part is interrelated. As Pavel mentioned that, sorry, he was taking part about fundraising, the startups that they do not have much funds to continue their job. How do you see the engagement of PM in this part? Again, this is as this is financial and founder related part. How do you see the engagement of PM in taking place of meetings about fundraising, finding capital, starting capital or continuing, etc.? That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. I can share my experience and my journey of becoming a bit better. So it started from taking course at Reforge Core Growth Series, which basically taught me how everything is a system and it's a model. So basically it's acquisition and retention of the users and the monetization. So that's where I started to think about product, not only product on its own, but as a growth, as an engine for monetization and everything feeding each other. The next step was analytics, right? So for me, I'm sharing my journey. Next step was for me analytics, defining usage metrics and really having self-serve analytics tool to start looking at the data, how one change in the product impacting the chart. You just really come and see, 1,000 people, very different people, every day 1,000 people doing one thing, and then it never changes until you change something in the product. So it shifts your mind a bit. And then the third thing is that, CEO comes or the founder comes and says like, okay, you're responsible for this attainment, for this ARR, for this quarter. And then from there, everything starts to fall into place because you start to understand the metrics, what's ARR, what's MRR, what's LTV, what you can impact, and that's my journey basically. And the second part probably.
Yeah, I want to add, can I clarify your question? So you mentioned that for how AI can be at use for the PMs at the early stage startups that that actually have a lot of to do with the different types of their job and how it could be at use.
If you are about my question,
yes.
It is not related. Interrelated with AI. I just wonder how you see the engagement of PM in the process of fundraising, taking part in the meetings of fundraising, capital gaining, financial part. Just.
Thank you. It's just my brain.
No worries.
Won't connect everything to AI right now. So I think it really depends from the strong personal skills of each one. For example, in my trip with Plug and Play in Uzbekistan, when I was a judge in the President Awards, there was a product manager pitching from the stage to raise the money for the startup, and CEO was just on the side. It's happened a lot with the technical products because the focus in the code, not in the speaking and representing the company. But as well, I think usually the participation is very important at the stages where the investor, for example, want to dive in deeper into the core of the product and like how interact with the users, some insights. And at these stages, the product is needed. Of course, great CEO should know this stuff in depth, everything, maybe even coding, but it really depends on the team.
Baririkom, thank you very much for your presentation and insights shared. My name is Naidalma, and I'm making research for my own projects in the field of healing and burnout prevention and team performance management. I would like to ask first Asti. AI itself creates a lot of pressure on the team members because it's obvious that part of the team would be cut off and fired. So another part that kind of implementation of new tools itself is also stressful for existing team members. So how do you manage stress in your team and maybe some practices or hacks, how you do it? And the second question would be for both speakers, how do you manage your time, your energy and stress? Thank you.
Okay. So it's an interesting question. Basically, when you start working the way I work, shifting the focus, having a lot of things to think about, and feeling your impact in every area. When people ask your opinion on every single thing, and like there's a lot of contribution you're having, you're just in emotion, you're in the zone. So when you're in a zone, I will be totally honest, for me, most important thing is the impact. It's like I'm in the game, I'm running, I'm not really thinking someone is falling. It's terrible what I'm saying, but it is true. It's a competition game, and like I'm right now in the zone and I'm running. I feel that, but this is basically what happened a long time ago, right? When manufacturers, they have all these workers and the employees, and then all this, you know, what's the name, like? Yes, Industrial Revolution, thank you, Annie, happened, and everyone was out of job. This is the evolution that happens, and these people from, you know, that type of work change their work to a different type. So some people stay in their zone and they work, and some people change. This is just the evolution. I'm like being totally transparent. And what was the question? How I manage my stress? I dance. I dance a lot.
Yeah, how do you manage time, energy and stress, yeah.
Yeah.
Because not everybody was born Armenian. It's a privilege.
Yeah, I dance a lot. That's how I manage my stress. And then usually I take my mornings a bit slow, and then I think about the product all day long, maybe work a bit after hours. It's my choice.
I want to add on the first one. So I already started to take clay lessons, so the pottery lessons. So it's actually a huge meditation. But I hope when you know, AI will fire me, at least I can sell the pots to the people in the internet, maybe. So on the energy, and it's a hard one actually, and you know, just trying to combine my life and support with the different practices like sport, like, you know, something to keep mindful, to be mindful, to be grounded. Of course, the good sleep is always helpful, and being social on such great events. Thank you, Plug and Play again, Armen, my superstar and a close friend. Yeah, and actually, you know, like some of the insight I recently started capture from the my friends gifted me Whoop wearables, and it's pretty insightful. You know, you're waking up in the morning, having, as you thinking, great sleep, and for example, it's showing that, you know, like it was absolutely not best one from the recent week. For example, you're surprised, and then you start, you know, filling out your journal, thinking like what gets wrong, and then you found some, you know, metric. But yeah, it should be limited. Let's not think about numbers.
I think, can we have like last question? Thank you. That guy on the, wait, it's left. Right for me, but left for you.
Thank you. First of all, I want to say thank you for your speech. It was really interesting for me as a computer science student. And I want to ask you, Asti, a question. You said that PM is dead or is going to be dead, and AI is helping a lot PM managers. I want to ask you, what are key human skills that will be needed and AI cannot replicate them?
Yeah, that's a good one. It's very unique to each person. And I didn't say PM is dead. I sort of said PM version 1 is dead. Each PM, like we have multi-functions, and each PM is very unique in their skills and talents. Somebody is very engineering oriented. The other one is UX oriented. For me, I like we have our designer see for every Figma file there is Asti Buzz duplicate file where I go and like work on the experience. This is something I'm passionate and I feel like contributing something. It's unique to me. I think about the experience, I think about the story, the excitement, what users feel, not what they need to do, but what they feel when they're interacting. So my purpose is so our product has soul, but it's very unique to each person. So storytelling, articulation, experience, design, everything is important, but you probably need to find 1, 2, 3 that you can double down on. All right.
Thank you, guys. Let's give a big thank to our speakers.
Thank you.
But now we should choose 3 questions.
Questions? Oh, yeah, the questions that get the prizes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys should be rewarded, 3 of you.
All right.
Pavel?
Yeah, you pick first.
Thank you. I think one about the energy and the life balance. It was the difficult one.
Yeah, I agree.
What about you?
Well, I'm really torn between what's the most important skill to take but probably go to this one because how to train and have this revenue thinking because it's not easy and it's not straightforward. So. The third one.
Okay. You want to pick up?
I think it's your turn.
Okay. Najde, what was you asking? I see. Okay. I forgot, but it was interesting. Okay. Yeah, but frankly, I think
Let's give to that guy.
Yeah, I think it's it's a nice one.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Let's switch to the right side of this hall and start our networking session. Thank you all. Have a good evening.